And come to standing. Just lift and roll the shoulders. Just lift your toes and then consciously place your toes back down again. Just lift up from the chest. Imagine the base chakra at the perineum and just slowly move up along the spine, just inside the spine, following the chakra points. So the base chakra, the sacral just between the base and the navel, up to the heart, up to the throat, third eye and crown chakra. Just connect with those points. Lift and roll the shoulders. And breathing in, turning the head to the left. In your own breath pattern, breathing out, turning to the right. And just repeat that a couple of times, into the left and out to the right. And again, into the left in your time. It's not only moving, having an effect on the thyroid and parathyroid glands, but the subtle movement of the head just subtly alters your perspective. Your eyes can be open or closed, and it disconnects you from the stress centres of the brain, a bit like moving your eyes upwards. So it's very much a mindfulness exercise. The neural pathways. We need to do this a lot, but this is just an introduction. And then coming to the centre, bring the hands to the heart centre, and circling the hands up, clasping and reversing, stretching up, and breathing out, lowering the hands. Lift and roll the shoulders. Breathing in, raise the right hand, stretch it up, left hand on the thigh, and breathing out. Just come over to the left. Feel that you're between two panes of glass. You can come slightly in and out, might not go very far, and you're just stretching out the right side. Breathing in, press your feet down, use your hand to support you to come up, and breathing out, lower the right hand. And breathing in, raise the left hand. Just connect your right hand to your thigh, breathing out, come to the right, chin in. And you might bounce in and out. Breathing in, come upright, and breathing out, lower your left arm. Lift and roll your shoulders. And then bring the hands to the heart centre. Soften the knees and circle the hands up, straighten the legs, palms together, half salute to the sun. Come through the centre, come to hands on the shins, breathing in, half lift. In your breath pattern, come forward, bend, half lift again, and in your own breath pattern, stay here as you breathe out. Breathing in, soften the knees, press the feet down and roll up vertebra by vertebra to standing. And stretching the arms up, circle the wrists down, and then circle the wrists up, palms together. Come through the centre for half salute to the sun again, bending the knees. Hands onto the shins, half lift. Bending as you breathe out. Half lift. Stay here as you breathe out. Softening the knees, pushing the feet into the ground and roll up vertebra by vertebra. Circling the arms, the wrists up, stretching out and circling down. Lift and roll the shoulders. And again, hands to the heart centre. Soften the knees, circle the arms up, palms together, through the centre, softening the knees, half lift, breathe out, softening in, half lift, and stay here as you breathe out. And breathing in, soften the knees, press the feet down and roll up, vertebra by vertebra. Breathing in, raising the arms up. Clasp the thumbs and just sway gently from side to side. And come to the centre. Lower the arms, lift and roll the shoulders. Hands on the waist. Test balance, lifting the heels. Fail straight away. And then breathing out when you're ready. Lower the heels. Just bend the knees to engage the core. And then coming to standing again. And then lift and roll the shoulders. Hands on the waist and just step a little bit apart. And just swirl one way in a circle. And then just swirl the other way in a circle. And then just lift and roll the shoulders. And then come to line. And I'm just going to get your bolster, which I totally forgot to do.
Creaking like an old woman here. So, creaking like an old woman here.
It's I can't think which way around we're going to go first.
As usual.
So if it doesn't actually matter particularly which way you start. So coming knees bent, feet hip width apart. And just come to connect again with the head. Just let the head or turn the head to the left. Take an in and an out breath here. When you're ready, roll the head back to the centre and let the head turn to the right. And take an in and an out breath. And come to the centre. And then just let the knees drop to the right. Your left hip will lift off the ground. Take an in and an out breath here. Breathing in, let your knees drift back to the centre. And as you breathe out, let both knees drift over to the left. Your right hip will lift off the ground. You can look up or look towards the right. Breathing in, bring the knees back to the centre. And then extending your left leg, open your right leg out to the right, and if you need support underneath your right thigh, then take that to support the right thigh. It's like a live tree. So if you're being very technical, you would feel that your left heel is extending, almost pressing into the ground as if you were supporting yourself, but that's an option. And your hands can either be palms down alongside you, or they can rest on the abdomen. Or if you can imagine a tree, they can almost rise up above you with your backs of the hands on the ground, or you can make a prayer position above your head with your elbows bent. Or you can even have a prayer position at the heart centre, just come to wherever works for you on your hands. And having said all that, I'm actually holding my wrists above my head. If you find that your left foot is relaxing, that's fine. Don't hold any tension in the pose. It's a nice alternative to standing tree because the earth is supporting all your weight and allowing you to stack your spine up without any variations or without any weight coming in the way of an aligned spine. And then just very gently, as you breathe out, lower the arms and hug the right knee into the chest. While you're here, just circle the right knee a few times in one direction. And then circle the right knee a few times in the other direction. And then just very, very gently let the right foot extend along the mat. And then bend up the left knee, hugging the left knee into the chest. And then just very gently open the left knee to the left, which might mean changing over your support if you in fact need support underneath your left thigh. Optionally extend your right heel so you're lying tree on the other side, the left side, and then choose your hand position either on the abdomen, wherever works for you. And then just very gently, perhaps supporting your left knee or your left leg with your hands, hug your left knee into the chest. And just circle the left knee a few times in one direction. And then circle the left knee a few times in the opposite direction. And then this time, just roll the entire body over to the right, the left hip will lift. Should have perhaps done that more smoothly and not got you to bring your support. So you've got your support under, if you need it, that is, under your left leg. So that you're resting your inside of your left knee on the support, or wherever it works for you. Right hand's on the outer left thigh, and left hand is either on your left waist, or extend your left elbow up above you, or open your left elbow like a book to the left, which is quite strong. And you can close your eyes, you can keep them open, you can just roll your head to whatever feels nice. If you want an extra stretch, then extend your right heel to stretch the body out, and then just release. This particular stretch is designed, it's obviously a rotation, but it's designed to work on the sacral chakra, the neck chakra, up on the base chakra. And then when you're ready, very, very gently roll onto your back. Perhaps have both knees up to the ceiling and both feet to the floor, just to lift the bottom and just stretch yourself out again. And if you think you're going to need support, take your support over to the left side. Lengthen the left leg. Hug the right knee into the chest. And when you're ready, roll the entire body to the left, resting the right knee on support, your support if you need it. Your left hand goes on the outside of your right thigh, your right hand goes on the waist or above you, wherever works for you. If you want an added stretch, just extend the left heel. And your head can look upwards or to the right, wherever again works for you. Takes the body a while to adjust to each position. And then very gently roll onto the back. Bend both knees, both feet on the ground, straighten yourself up, and then hug one knee and then the other knee into the chest. Both knees are hugging into the chest. And then just very gently rock from side to side. Let the weight of the back of the head connect to the mat and just let the weight of the head. Give yourself a massage across the back of the head. So depending on how much you rock from side to side will also depend on how much the back of the skull you're massaging. There's no right or wrong. Just gently rock from side to side. And if you want a core awareness, you would hold your knees slightly less and let your tummy do the work. But that's an option. And then coming to the centre. And in your own breath time, hug both knees into the chest. And let them drift away to arm's length. Again, if you want a core connection, hold your knees less strongly. And just do that a couple of times in your own breath pattern. The hugging the knees to the chest will come, it's an upside down forward movement. I know that sounds odd because you're lying on your back, but it compensates for the rotation that we did lying on the ground. There are different ways to do that. This is just one of them. And then very gently let the right foot go down to the ground, and half happy baby on the left side. So if you want a gentle half happy baby, hold the outside of your foot and bend your knee towards the ground, out to the left, to avoid your tummy. If you want a stronger half happy baby, hold the foot from the inside, so the little finger, the two fingers on the outside of the foot. And your hand can rest on your right hip bone or on the floor. Just opening the hip in a slightly different way. And then tummy and perineum engage, just to hug your left knee into your chest and place the left foot on the floor. And then we're going to come to the right side, half happy baby, holding your foot whichever way you feel you'd like to hold it. Your left hand either on the floor or on your hip. The hips are meant, stiff hips, it's meant to represent where we're going in life. If you can't see a pattern or you can't see the way forward for the moment, you have to stiffen up on the hips. And then just very gently supporting the right leg as you press the right foot on the floor. Hands on the floor, palms down, and just gently sway your knees from side to side, lifting the hip off the ground as you go one hip and then the other. And then we're going to have a nod to the core again. So bring your knees to upright, hip width apart. Bend your elbows and just clasp your hands underneath your head, elbows out to the side. If that's too strong under your elbows, then just bring your elbows towards your head a little bit, so you're not quite so open. And as you breathe out, flatten the back to the ground and just lift your head up a few inches off the ground. Your elbows might come towards one another. If your tummy domes, you've gone too far, and then just very gently relax your head back down to the ground and open your elbows as far as works for you. And then when you next breathe out, flatten the back to the ground, support your head and back of the neck, lift the head, elbows might come together. You lift off the mat as much as you like, and that will depend on your core strength. But don't overstretch yourself, just release the head back down to the ground. And then just let the legs, the knees, flop or roll to the right. And in doing so, you will lift up off your left shoulder, your elbows will come together and you'll roll almost completely to the right. The knees come down to the ground, your elbows almost meet together, hugging your head, chin is into the chest. And then just roll back to the centre using your right elbow, your right shoulder to help you. And then just roll the entire body over to the left. And then roll back. Knees are upright, head goes back onto the ground. Elbows open to the side. And then very gently slide the fingers out from under the head. And then a nod to the ears again. Just however works for you, massage the earlobe, wherever you feel you want to massage the ear inside that. Is it the tragus? Or was it just whatever? Let's look up the anatomy of the ear again. And then just very gently release the hands back down to the ground. And this time have your feet slightly wider than hip width apart. And just windscreen wiper from side to side of your knees. So knees go to the right, really lift your left hip off the ground. And your left knee will drop almost to the centre of the mat. Then tummy in, perineum engages to bring your knees upright. And then in your own time, let both knees drift over to the left, lifting your right hip off the ground. And you can do a slow swaying from side to side, lingering on the side for a breath or two. Or if you want to speed it up, that's fine too. Your head will naturally move from side to side. And in the moment where you're connecting, almost massaging across your lower back and the back of the head, you're generally not thinking of too much. It's a somatic movement, connecting to a sensory feel of the movement. And so it becomes a mindfulness movement where your mind is not really connecting generally, as I said, to too much. Just enjoy the sensation of the massage across the lower back, across the back of the head. You might find that your head's turning as well, which then becomes connecting into the neck and vagus again. Seems to impact everything really, but and then just very, very gently come to have your knees back to the centre. We're going to come in our own time to seated, so perhaps hug the knees into the chest and just rock once more from side to side. And then yogically you would roll to the right away from the heart and stay there for a moment to come up to a seated position. But if you want to rock and just slightly roll up, that's fine too. But come to a seated position, however that works for you. And come initially to have your legs out. Flesh out from underneath your bottom. Hands to either side. Just bounce your legs. Extend your heels. Point your toes a couple of times. So I've got a very relaxed yoga kind of therapy just anyway. If you wanted to be really strict, you'd have your hands and fingers pointing forward, but just be relaxed. And then begin to circle the ankles in one direction. And then circle the ankles in the other direction. And then both big toes go to one side and then to the other side. And then just curl your toes in and just open them out without giving yourself a cramp. And then this time, it's a slightly different twist, just lengthen the body. And rather than crossing over the ankles, just lift your left arm, tummy in, perineum engages, and just bring your left arm across the body. Your palm can either be down or open, whichever works, right hand behind. Breathing in, lengthen the body, and breathing out, turn to look over your right shoulder. Breathing in, lengthen the body, and just turn, looking over the right shoulder. Stay here for an in and an out breath. Keeping the body where it is, turn the head to the left. And then when you're ready, turn the head back to the right. And then come back to the centre. And just slide your hands down to your shins. Just take an in and an out breath here. And then sliding the hands up, hands to either side of you. When you're ready, raise your right hand, tummy in, perineum engages. Bring your right hand across the body, either down, palm up, whatever. Suits, left hand behind, lengthen the body as you breathe in. Your head's the last thing to turn as you look over your left shoulder. Breathing in, lengthening the body. And breathing out, turning. Again. And then bring the head to turn over your right shoulder. Bring the head back over the left shoulder. And then come back raising your right arm to come back to the centre. And then just slide your hands down your shins, taking a compensatory few breaths from the meditation that we've done. And then just sliding the hands up. If you want to stay with your legs out, please do, but otherwise come to a cross-legged position for a few centering breaths. Hands can be palms down on the knees or palms up, whatever works. You can have your thumb and second finger together. Breathing in through the nose and breathing out through the mouth. Your breath pattern. Make the next breath the last one. And then come to hands and knees in tabletop position. And just a couple of classic dipping the back, looking either up or along the mat, and breathing out, rounding, chin comes to the chest. Just repeat a couple of those in your own breath pattern. Come to neutral. Just slide your left leg forward and your right leg back. Tucking the right toes under, just stretching out the right leg. And then you can just roll slightly forward and then come back again. You're stretching out under the toes, where I think the lumbridian reflexes are. What are they, see?
That's right, yeah.
If you wanted to explore hip movement, you can do a semi-pigeon by bringing your right knee to the ground, sliding your left leg slightly forward and sliding your right leg back. You can stay up. I just want to explore if that's okay for you.
Yes, fine.
So then you can lift up, or if you want to come forward, just come forward over your left knee as little as much as you want. You can have your hands in fists, or if you want to just really stretch out, then you can really stretch out. It just depends on where your capacity is. Very helpful for the hips. You can just slightly wobble from side to side or centre and then back again to the other side. It's a variation on pigeon. Slightly heavier duty because the weight of your body is on your hips, so if you've had a hip replacement, you might need to be very careful and avoid this, but we haven't, so just
enjoy the pigeon aspect. Iyengar, who was one of the yoga gurus, he was actually a pupil of Krishnamacharya. Um, but Iyengar had breathing difficulties, and as a result, his yoga is very much on alignment, but also on expanding the breath. And the full pigeon expands the chest. So when you're ready, tummy in, engage the perineum,
Just come up onto your fingertips, and you'll see that the chest expands like a pigeon, and then you can actually do all kinds of things like bring your back leg up and hook your thing over, which is yes.
Good. I don't think so.
I
do think so. It's a
and
nice thought.
then just come back to your knees, and then just slide to the side. And then slide your left leg back, right knee forward, and come to your fingertips there. If you want to increase the pressure on your hip, you would bring your right foot out towards the left, but that really is putting more pressure on it. So as I said, you can stick to like a really modified version.
Just lift it up, and you can stay like that or on your fingertips. But if you want to come down to your elbows or even further, then come down to wherever works for you.
I'm going to have my hands on fists, so that I'm putting pressure on my forehead, my third eye, and just gently rock from side to side. It is one of the asanas for hip health. Again, as I said, if someone's already had a hip replacement, and depending on obviously where the incision was or how it was done, that there is a caution on this. As I said, otherwise it is very helpful for the hips. And then tummy in, perineum engage is to support you to come up. Slide the right knee back. And then we're going to come very briefly to tap on the toes and rolling up to standing, however that works for you. Walk the hands to the feet to the hands, and roll it up very gradually. And come to then place your right foot forward, your left foot back. You can have a wider stance if that works. It's a warrior variation. And then breathing in, soften the front right knee, opening at the shoulders, cactus arms. Breathing out, lower the hands, straighten the legs. And then breathing in a little bit higher. Breathing out, lower. And as we come up higher again, just hold the breath for a moment. Breathing in, hold the breath. And then when you're ready, breathing out. Step the right foot back. Just swaying from side to side. And then when you're ready, come to stillness and stepping must be the left foot forward, right foot back, same thing on this side. Your left foot can go out more if you need the balance. Breathing in, soften the left knee, cactus arms, opening the shoulders here. Again, that's lung radiance, breathing out. Breathing in, arms up. Breathing out, lower. And then the next time, holding the breath for a little while. And when you're ready, lower.
step your left foot back. Feet hip width apart. Slide your hands to the thighs. Right shoulder comes in. Come back. Left shoulder comes in. Just come back. Just a couple of times. Your own breath pattern. Just stretching out the lower back, the back here, the shoulders. And then come to the centre, breathe out, and as you breathe out, chin to chest, hold the breath out, tummy in, perineum engages for as long as you can. And then when you want to breathe, then just release everything. And then roll up vertebra by vertebra. Feet come in, heel toe the feet, lifting up the shoulders. Breathing in, head to the left. Breathing out, head to the right. Come to the centre, hands together. We're going to come back down to the mat and just very gently hugging the knees into the chest. If you want full support again, you can put your bottom on the support and just, actually your support's better than mine for that, one's a bit higher. Just have the hips resting, hug the knees into the chest, palms down, and legs up, or just palms behind the legs, whatever works for you, or palms on the abdomen. It's Tibetan shoulder stand, or just legs up. You can stay static, but if you are getting to the point where you just like a distraction, you can cross your ankles one way, extend your heels a little bit, and then uncross your ankles and cross them the other way. Cross them. You can just very, very gently circle the whole, both feet, almost like water swirling down a plug hole. Just subtly just swirl in one direction. You might find that you naturally go in one direction. I don't quite understand why, but they say if you look at water swirling down a plug hole, it would go in one way, other than right or left. But if you were on the other side of the world, it would go the opposite way.
Gravity.
Is it gravity?
Yeah.
And then just very gently let the knees drop in towards the chest. And then you might like to just very gently drop your feet to the ground. Here, you're, depending on how high your support is, the blood's coming back towards the heart. You can rest your hands on your abdomen or on the floor. And that's quite nice too, just to stretch out the front of the chest. You might like to just let your head roll from one side to the other. And just bring your attention to a moment to your nostrils, breathing in through the nose, and imagine the breath travelling to the centre of the head, however, wherever you imagine that to be, and then as you breathe out, the breath travels down inside the body, taking with it anything that doesn't serve you today, any niggles or pains or worries. And it leaves through the feet, goes back to Mother Earth. Breathing in through the nose a few times in your own breath pattern to the centre of the head, and then put into that out breath anything that you don't want, that's not serving you today. Just let it float down and leave through the soles of the feet. Couple of breaths. can be for you, or it can be for somebody close to you, or it can be a world thought. And just think that thought a couple of times, setting your intention for the day. And then having set your intention, just let the thought drift away. The intention has been set. And still, if you're on your support, just very gently press your feet down and take the support out from underneath your bottom, underneath your hips. And then hug your knees into the chest once more, just gently rock from side to side. And then perhaps also hugging the knees into the chest and let the knees drift away to arm's length. And then rolling to one side, taking your time to come up to a seated position. And hands on the knees, just chin into the chest, just slightly go to the left until you feel that you need to engage your muscles to keep you upright. Come to the centre, chin into the chest, and very slightly go to the right. Come back to the centre. Breathing in, sitting up, and breathing out, rounding chin to chest. And just a couple of times, breathing in, sitting up, and breathing out, rounding chin to chest. Come to sitting up, and then turning the head to the left as you breathe in. Breathing out, turning the head to the right. And again, breathing in, head to the left. And breathing out, head to the right. Come back to the centre. And then taking a bow for yourself, bringing your hands to your heart. Lovely day ahead. Thank you for joining me today, and then